Welcome to English classes with Dr. Rajiv. This is my 8th class uh, on tense. So, in the initial classes, I discussed about tense, introduced the tense, and then I told you about the past tense, and then I discussed about the present tense. So, past tense tells about what happened in the past, and present tense tells what is happening in the present time. But if you want to say something about future, which has not still happened, or which is still to take place. So in that case, what you use? You use future tense. So future tense is for those activities which has not been conducted and that is supposed to take place in future. So that is future tense. Now this future tense, how we use it, how we write, what's the structure of this tense? So you might remember that in the beginning, in the second lecture most probably, I gave you one conjugation of verb teach. So in that conjugation of verb teach, I discussed about about the structure of all those things. So now let us come back to that one, flashback. So this one is actually structure of future tense. So I told you that there are three tenses: past tense, present tense, and future tense. We discussed about the past tense, which happens or which happened in the past, that is you use in past tense. Then present tense, that is what is happening now, that was in present tense. But this time our main focus is about future tense. So that's why I gave you this future tense only. So in future tense, again there are four subdivisions. Actually future tense only one, this tense doesn't say everything about that one, and the meaning will be not very clear if I start or write only one future tense. Okay, so here we have to subdivide all those tenses in these four categories. So in future simple or indefinite, that is simple future or indefinite future. Then we can have future continuous or future progressive. Then we have future perfect, and finally we have future perfect continuous tense. So these are the four further subdivisions of future tense. Now here, actually I gave you the structure of active and passive voice also. So in active and passive voice, the problem is that they don't have much difference. All right, the only difference is that in active voice, subject is the doer of the action, and in passive voice, subject is the receiver of the action. Otherwise, the uses are almost the same. So as far as the structure is concerned, in the simple future, the structure is I shall teach, and here in passive voice, I shall be taught. So here in continuous tense, I shall be teaching, and then in perfect, future perfect, I shall have taught, and future perfect continuous tense, I shall have been teaching. So this is the structure of future tense. Now after this, let us discuss one by one simple future or future indefinite. That is, I shall teach or I shall have taught. When and where do we use these tenses, these structures? That we shall discuss now. So in simple future tense, I shall teach. All right. So here it is subject I, and then shall or will, and then teach. The root, that is the root form of the verb, the first verb. Here I shall read, I shall eat, I shall drink, I shall dance, whatever it may be. The first form of the verb should be mentioned here. Now, one thing I will also tell you that here shall or will is there. Okay. So with I we can use, sometimes we use will also, sometimes we use shall also. But remember one thing, if you want to say something about future, the first person future, all right, then it should be used with I shall. All right. When you say I will, that means that says that your commitment. I will do it. That is your commitment. Huh? So if you want simple future, you want to say something about, simply about future, then better use I shall. He will is fine. That is the third person. You use he will. You will, third person. The second person is also fine. You will. But when this one uh, with I, you better use shall for future purposes rather than will. But when you say I will, that means you have committed. Right? That is your commitment. But here, I shall means simple future. I shall teach. So here there is a subject, shall or will. I told you that will is used for future purposes when it is the second person pronoun and third person pronoun. He will or you will. It is fine with this one. But shall for future purposes, better use I shall. You want to say I will, that means all right, you're committed to this one. So better use for future purposes I shall. So subject is there, and then I, and then shall is there, and then root form of the verb, that is root teach. I shall teach, or I shall eat, I shall drink, I shall dance. So whatever it may be, you can say like that. This is the structure of simple future tense. Now after this, Uh, uh, when and where do we use this one? This is actually used for an action that is still to take place, something which has not happened and likely to happen in future. So in that case, you use this one. So, and one more thing is that this expresses pure or colorless future. It's not colored with intention. So when it is completely future without any intention, you use this tense. That is simple future. Today I shall go to the market. Tomorrow will be Sunday. So these are simple future things. So for this thing, you use simple future tense. Now, when you use this thing, simple future with colored with intention. All right, you want to say something. All right, intention is there. Then you use this one rather than saying will. You use is going to. So he is going to, I am going to, you are going to, like this one. So is depending upon the is going to plus infinitive, the verb of first form, and then here it is he. So in that case, is you have written is. If you have written here you, then are should be there, should be written here, and then if it is you are, I am, like this one. So depending upon is, are, am, depending upon the subject. So here I have used the subject he. So in that case, you better use is. So is going to is there and build the first form of the verb. So right here. So here your intention is that you're going to build a new house. You want to say that you're going to do something in the near future. So in that case, you use he's going to build a new house. But if you simply want to say about future, simple future, tomorrow will be Sunday. All right, there's no intention. Today I shall go to the market. All right, simple future, but this is intention. So in that case, you use going to plus first form of the verb. That is the root form of the verb. Uh, Then the second one will be future continuous tense. Now future continuous tense is like this. The structure is this. I shall be teaching. Here subject I. Shall or will, I told you that with I for future we use better shall. Alright. Then be is already there and root form of the verb, that is teach, is the root form of the verb, and then ing have added. So I shall be teaching is the structure of this future continuous tense. Uh, Now when and where do we use this future continuous tense? So an action going on at certain time in future. An action going on at certain time in future, you use this one. So I shall be reading them. I shall be reading them. Alright, so by that time in future, a certain time in future, some an action will be continuing at that time. I shall be reading them. उस समय हम पढ़ते रहेंगे. When I get home, my children will be playing. Alright, so when I go back to my home, from my office, from institute, from our college, so whatever it may be. So when I get back home, what my children will be doing, they will be playing. So I'm telling about my future, the future activity of my children. So action going on at certain time in future. Alright, so in the future, it's 10 o'clock. Let it be 10 o'clock. And when I reach home at 5 o'clock, I will see that my children will be playing. So by that time, certain time in future, some activity will be going on. So if you want to say that thing, you better use this one. When I get home, my children will be playing. I shall be reading them. So when you come to my home for tea, I shall be reading them. I shall be reading newspaper then. All right. So this is like that. Action going on at certain time in the future. You better use this one. Uh, the next one is this also used for future events that those are planned. All right. So for planned events also use this one. I will be staying here till Sunday. This future continuous tense. I will be staying here till Sunday. We will be meeting on next Thursday. All right. So this is planning. All right. This is the planning. We will be meeting on next Thursday. This is my planning. So for planned events also use this future continuous tense. The third one is future perfect tense. So now in future perfect tense, what happens? It's like this: subject plus will shall plus have plus past participle form of the verb. That is the third form of the verb I told you. So here subject is I, then will or shall, I told you what shall, and then have is already there. So if it is I, again shall, you shall have, we shall have, he shall have, whatever it may be, but have will be there. It's not going to be has, depending upon this one. So here I shall have. All right, I shall have a taught. Teach, taught, taught. The third one, taught. Read, read, read. eat, ate, eaten. I shall have eaten. The third form should be written here. That is the past participle form. I shall have taught, and then I shall have gone to the market, like this. So this is about the future perfect tense. Now this future perfect tense, when and where do we use? So to indicate completion of an action by a future time. All right. So in future time, if something is completed, if some action is over by a time, certain time in future, you use this future perfect tense. In all, you can say that perfect tense, I told you, when you use it in present perfect, the job is over. All right. By that time, I have eaten. All right. I have eaten. Now I don't need another dish. All right. I had the second one in past perfect. Uh, I had eaten. All right. So actually, that one is about to say that when two actions are there, you have to say that which action happened first and which action happened afterwards. You use that past perfect tense. And this one is future perfect tense. This tells about that uh, completion of an action by a future time, certain to indicate completion of an action by a future time. That is what it means to say, I shall have done my exercise by that time. Before you go to see him, he will have left the place. All right, before you go to see him, he will have left the place. So when you want to say that he will have left the place, this action would be over. All right, before you reach to see him, before you go to see him, I shall have done my exercise by that time. So if you come to meet me, I shall have completed my job. So when you want to say that some action will be over at a certain moment of time, so you use this future perfect tense. So perfect tense is used for completion of an action. All right. So if it is present perfect, completed in present moment. Past perfect, completed in the past, and future, it will be completed in the future tense. So this perfect tense shows or tells about completion of an action in at a certain moment in future. The third one is future, or the fourth one is future perfect continuous tense. And this future perfect continuous tense is like this: subject plus will shall plus have plus been plus root verb plus ing. So here subject is I, and then I told you that with I use shall, and then have is also there, been is also there, and then root verb is teach, and then we have used ing also. I shall have been teaching. He will have been enjoying the holidays. So like this, we use this, the structure of this future perfect continuous tense is this. Now when and where do we use? You can see this one, that action in progress over a period of time that will end in the future. So by next July, we shall have been living here for 4 years. All right. So this my living is continuing. All right, is in progress. Action. My living is in progress. Huh? And that will end in future. So by uh, um, next July, huh? So at a certain moment in future, that is by next July, my living will be completing 4 years. So by next July, we shall have been living here for 4 years. So like this, we use it. So this is future perfect continuous tense, and with future perfect continuous tense, I close my discussion on tense, and I thank you for watching uh, all my lectures on tense. Thank you once again, and thank you for watching English classes with Dr. Rajiv. And if you like it, then of course share it, comment it, and I hope that we shall be again for future classes also. Uh, now after this, I shall be discussing some exercises here in this one. So in these exercises, you have to find out the right answer, the correct answer. Water at 100 degrees centigrade boils, boiled. It started to rain while are playing, were playing, had played. Find out the correct one. I am studying, have been studying English for 5 years. He watches, is watching, has been watching TV most evenings. I did, have done, had done a lot of work today. The plane will arrive at 3:30. Unless we start, now we can't go. Start will start. Now we can't be on time. I go home next Sunday. I am going home next Sunday. Hurry up, the program will start, is about to start. This article is not long. I will be reading or will have read by lunchtime. So I'm going to find out the correct answer, and hint is given just below. So thank you once again. Thank you for being here. We shall be meeting in next classes. Thank you.